Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We've got more TF2 action for you tonight. It is going to be Czuraci taking on Aware. I'm Dave, I've got Beta on the camera tonight, and I'm joined by Ben Pierre, who's going to fill me in on exactly what's going on this season and what's going on between these two teams.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've only got a few minutes. We don't have the many hours that you need to cover all of the crazy, wild things that have gone on this season. But it's been a bit of a weird one. And here coming into what I believe is a week 4 offie, but this is the final offie for Aware. So this is their last chance to perhaps sneak into a playoff spot. Which honestly, coming into I know a year, 2 years ago, if you're saying if they're going to be this team who's still all the way down in mid, making it into a potential Prem playoff spot, it's maybe not something you'd expect, but their position at the moment isn't looking too great. They still have a chance to make it, but they have to win this offie. Even if they do, it's not quite guaranteed. So that's going to be pressure onto them for this match.
Yeah, as someone who hasn't been particularly active in especially the Sixers casting scene for a while, the main thing I'm aware of is, of course, that Aware are the team with the almost perma-demo night at this stage. I think they did win Division 1 right last season, and that's how they got themselves into this Prem spot. So, I mean, I'm not surprised to see them actually doing pretty decently. It seems that every season everyone comes in and says, "Oh, it worked in the lower div, but we're going to beat the demo night this time." But so far they haven't really been stopped. They've just kind of climbed up the divisions repeatedly. And to be honest, it's not just the demo night. They have some very, very strong players to kind of complement him, but it's always a different kind of style of game when you're having to deal with that different kind of subclass.
Oh, for sure. But speaking a bit about Aware, we should probably talk about the Czechs, who are going to be their opponents this time around. And the Czechs, they still have 2 offies left, and they are also in this race to get these final couple of playoff spots. And they've got many names that we've all have heard of. Maybe if you're a bit old, you might have heard of some more of these names. But SNH and Lucas are the 2 that sort of stand out as recently being in Prem these last couple of seasons. Obviously, Lucas flew out to America, king of the world in the Demoman class, and will be tasked with the unenviable task this game of trying to tame a Demo Knight. But when you've got pipe aim like Lucas, when you've got traps like Lucas, it's probably the best case scenario for a Demo who otherwise might struggle for counterplay into a Sword and Shield.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite a lot of experience, I'd say, on this Czech team. I believe that's Nation, right?
Nation's changed name, but it is Nation, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, he's been around for a long, long time, it's fair to say. Maybe even longer than Beta, I don't know exactly.
Yeah, these guys have been around forever. It's funny that in their week 1 offie, I can't remember which of their players it was, but they ended the server before STV had run out, and they were like, "Wait, sorry, I didn't realize we still had to do that because our last offie was 4 years ago." So that's the sort of age we're talking about here with some of these players, and they were really good, right, back in their day. I think at least this core of this roster had a really good run back at Arcadia, but they've been a bit of a while out of the game. But they're coming back in. They've looked very strong, and they've kind of got better and better with their experience coming back into the game, and week on week you can see them sort of increasing their cohesion and getting back into things. So they are a really exciting prospect, and probably one of the favorites.
I just want to quickly point out, they can hear me now.
Playoffs.
I just want to point out, I used to mentor Nation, all right? So that's...
Okay. So he's just a little kid compared to you. We get it.
Pretty much all of TF2 is compared to Beta at this point, right? Been around since the dawn of time.
We should probably stop bullying our producer at this stage, otherwise we're gonna get in trouble. But here we go. Looks like the teams are just about ready to go live. It is going to be Aware rolling out in the blue. I'm expecting a Demo Knight. I am hearing a sword slashing. I am hearing a Demo Knight charge. That is Odin. And it is Czuraci, the Czechs, in the red, rolling out to this first mid of Sultry.
Here we are, we'll see what this Demo Knight can do. Sultry was a map they won the other week on against Aragos, but there's a whole new kettle of fish taking on the Czechs. Big bombs forward, these 2 swords. Lupus Aaron are very aggressive. Blair has had to back out all the way through into second. The soldiers keep chasing him down, and Lupus at 11 HP is going to have to come back in onto Cheese. Lenny takes that frag. Lucas the only one to fall so far, but both soldiers and one of the scouts will pay with their lives, and Blair has to run all the way back, but does keep up with that Uber charge, so it's going to be even Ubers and a successful mid.
It is. Kritz Krieger's beta points out as well. So yeah, it's going to be awkward because, you know, generally when it's Kritz Krieger, you want to either have that advantage to work with, or you know, you never really want it to be even Ubers and having the other team to get the Uber, and that's why we're seeing here where able to just walk their way in. They do have to pop the Uber. Actually, Unforgiven went very, very low there. But it does keep enough place, and they take out Blair in the meantime as well. So they're easily going to be able to cap this mid-fight on and probably continue some momentum because they have the players up, they have the healers as well.
Yeah, bit of a disaster there in that hole. Like you said, the crits just was not a match. Buko did some fantastic work there, pressing it that Uber charge forward, and they killed, well, practically everyone over on the Czech side. And now the Czechs sent all the back to last. They're getting a gun up, they're getting their own Uber charge ready, but they are at around 30 disadvantage. So if this is built well by Unforgiven, there is a potential to just send this one in.
Yeah, they're building it up. It's going to have a bit of an advantage. It's not going to be absolutely gigantic, of course, but probably more than enough to at least make some kind of an opening with. Thinking about exactly where they want to approach from. I'm seeing players posturing to go perhaps just underneath through the lower area, coming in. Nice entry, relatively getting the demo right in that left spawn door. Going to take out Lenny, and now finally the push out, but it's a lot of cap time already. The Uber is now out for the Czech side, but they've lost a couple of players, and I'm expecting recollapse imminently.
Yeah, well, it's all about whether they can get in. There's some cap time to work with. There's a heavy to dislodge. The SNH to be 450 points of health to dislodge from this point. And does actually get taken down only behind the point onto Blair. But that might not be the fight we have to care about, because Lucas is currently 1v3 on this point, hanging on for dear life. On the Czech reinforcements, they're still coming in. Drips and drabs. Currently Lenny lasted up, getting arrow tanked by Blair at this point. They cannot take down this soldier fast enough. The second spawner wave is going to be a few moments away, and Lenny is just fighting tooth and nail to hang on to this point, and he might have done enough because SNH is now here. And oh my dear me, how on earth are the Czechs hanging on?
Yeah, they just always seem to have one player alive on the point that it just about is enough. Can't focus fire that one player quite enough.
Great from
on the side
Lenny.
of the
Such good work from Lenny. But the worst bit is, though, there's no real option to push out, because it was all, like I say, it was one player up clutching up every single time. So the spawns were just completely desynced there on the defense from the Czechs, and now they're setting themselves in a position where the Ubercharge situation not looking too friendly, and yeah, might have another attempt at a similar push.
Yeah, it looks like they're probably going to go from underneath again. Hopefully Lupus has a little bit more ammo this time as he just jumps in right into the spawn door, takes out the sentry gun with no too much damage. Everyone hiding in spawn at the moment. 2x on the cap from the scout. It's going to be blocked here by Misha coming in and getting in position, but Lenny is now on the point defending. Lupus gets cleaned up, and just as everyone goes out other than Buko, he escapes with 3 health, but everyone else falls, and in fact Buko's gonna make a go, and he takes out Lenny. He's wanting to duel against Lucas.
No,
oh my god! Wow, the save from Blair there with the Uber saw after Buko just soloed everyone.
Oh my, I really thought it could happen for a moment, but yeah, the Ubersaw comes in clutch, as now, the thing is, with all this cap time, the feed can still continue from aware. They can still keep the pressure on, and they can start a back cap. We have Aaron Tree bombing us to the point, trying to get this last lick of cap time. I do not know how the Czechs aren't 1-0 down at this point. They are really, really playing with fire.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been the skin of their teeth for about 5 minutes now. Crazy, crazy stuff. But they are escaping for now. There's still a decent amount of cap time, but at least Blair has that full Uber advantage. He actually had Uber before the Uber came out, so he actually, you know, he didn't build anything from it, but obviously keeping his team alive and finally finish off Buko was the big saving grace for them. Now they're just kind of sitting back, probably going to do this standard setup that you'd expect. Sentry gun on last, always a decent choice, always a decent pick. And we've got a sniper as well coming out from Misha on the right side spawn. Just seeing what he can peek, as no one's really popping their head around too much. No one really wants to get it ripped off by that sniper rifle. A little bit of a duel on the left, but just a soldier trade at the end of the day.
It's down to the sniper v sniper. This is what could really open things up. Lupus has decided to take the sniper this time around. Buko is usually the one that we'd be seeing unaware picking it up, but Lupus very capable and has been for a very long time. One of these standout Sixers off-class players, but not able to land any shots so far, as Now the spawners are back up. Aaron Shearer, of course, was traded out before. I don't think I see anything funny on that loadout just yet. It's all going to be about Lupus, this sniper, and can they just work some angles? Because this gun, I've got to say, is looking very passive. This is not the normal gun we see on Sultry last. It's kind of more of a disad gun, but maybe that is planned, expecting that this Demo Knight walking in might be struggling as the charge comes in and they actually get the kill. Oh dear, what do you even do against that?
That is absolutely disgusting. There's a level 3 sentry gun defending you. You're standing in a dispenser and still somehow the Demo Knight manages to squeeze his way in and take your head off with the katana. He's in again onto a heavy this time. Heavy has too much health to deal with, but so many players have fallen for the Czechs. It's going to be very, very
big
easy.
soldier bomb.
Maybe not. Lenny is coming in, doing his best to salvage, but has way too much work to do.
Honestly, that post-fight, those soldiers, I really thought that Lenny and Coling would have a good chance there, but it was good scattering there from aware. They just saw the soldiers bomb in. A couple of them tanked the rockets, but everyone else scattered them to the low ground, and they just recollapsed in that fight. And the thing is, like, with these last pushes, it was the Demo Knight sacking that really cooked all that off, and Ubercharge trading off, getting 2 frags for it is fantastic. Gun going down 2. Great coordination there from aware as they get the first round on the board.
Yep, strong stuff from them basically for most of that whole round for a long time on their opponent's last, and eventually they knocked on the door and it did prize their way in. Immediately charge coming in from Odin, but he gets pretty much stopped at the moment. Lupus is in deep, but excellent defensive work, excellent just kiting away. Now the Demo Knight is back in and Odin finds a player, takes the medic's head off, and it is going to continue in the fight. It's looking rough for Unforgiven. He is going to create a few players left just to clean it up, but SLH is all alone. Gets one final frag onto Buko, but it's going to be Aware coming out on top of this mid-fight.
Really nice mid again, like these soldiers in Aware are doing so much work. Obviously the eyes there on the Demo Knight sliding in to get that medic frag, but the space made by that double bomb can never be underestimated, especially in a mid like Soldier. There's so much high ground you can take on the enemy side, and it's completely suffocating if you're trying to stay in a mid and there's soldiers spamming you from all angles. And that's what Lucas and Aaron did so well on that mid. But maybe haven't got the reinforcements here quite fast enough, because it looks like second point is able to be scarped onto here by the Czech side. They managed to cap it up, but they do have a sniper to contend with on the Aware team. It's Buko this time, it's his turn. Lupus has been forced off it after not landing too much impact last time. It's going to be back to Buko, their regular standard sniper for the rest of this season, and he has been ripping heads off left and right.
Yeah, I certainly haven't been casting very much in the Sixers scene recently, but someone who I have seen a lot of is the Buko sniper. He is very, very phenomenal Highlander sniper. Probably the best in Europe, arguably the best in the world right now. And yeah, obviously a little bit different when you are playing in the Sixers. You are just expected to get picks, but obviously hitting headshots is always going to help.
Oh, big sync bomb force comes out because Aaron Trey comes in 2. This can be 2 soldiers for the force, and they do actually get that final frag onto Misha. That might be pretty big because Unforgiven has now had to fall all the way back, does eventually get forced out, but who is even going to survive here on the Czech team? SNH somehow fighting Ubered players and winning in choke. I don't know how that's allowed to work, but getting 1 frag might just stall things out for a moment, but it will just be a moment now because Aware can get themselves set up on the second point. Sniper and Demo Knight is not the ideal pair to hold a point with, and this might actually mean that the Czechs really want to pressure this back in and perhaps punish the inoptimal class setup for holding this point.
Yeah, they're doing their best. Lupus is kind of getting bullied at the moment. It's going to be a scout and a Demo just locking him down. He does get that arrow, so he's able to just re-aggress, re-bomb, finds himself back at the point. Another arrow for Andre, and gets a nice little kill with the little... What is that weapon? It is the
pain train. The
pain train that is normally used just to increase the cap time for you, but does come in clutch when you need to use it in those melee situations.
Yeah, the nails to the wood plank really doing a good amount of damage there, but now it's all eyes on these sacks into last. They're really trying to use the dynamic nature of this transition into last to maybe catch some off-timing sacks, but the off-timing sacks do not get anything of value. Odin and Aaron Tree both flying in, and this is now an opportunity maybe for the Czechs to get some ground back onto this second point, because they've really been on the back foot this whole game. Ubercharge used by Aaron Tree, by Unforgiven, excuse me, and Omga has gone behind onto last with him, but I think the second cap by the Czechs is going to win out. But now we are in a very weird scenario. We've got 2 fights going on. Blair still has an Ubercharge to use here and might just be killing practically everyone here. in the cheese area, but there's still fights happening on last. Unforgiven is miles away from the fight and healing any of these teammates, and it's a race. Will the mid cap first, or will the second cap first?
Yeah, the 5x cap on mid might just about be able to sneak in through it now. Everyone is behind. This is a rough spot. Are we going to see any killbinds coming in for Aware here? It's going to have to get a race on, really. They're trying to amble the way back, but I don't know if there are enough players. Orenche has got himself back. There's a spawner as well, Lupus, to do their best. Lupus hiding behind the rock is able to force, gets air shots. And that might be just about enough to keep themselves alive just a little bit longer. There's lots of low health on the Czech side, and it's going to be Buko coming through with 2 frags. He gets another one as well.
Lenny, the Demo Knight!
Oh, the cap out just about in time. Odin charging, got the frag, but it was just too late.
If that was a game of football, we'd now spend 10 minutes looking at VAR to see if he got it just in time, but it was literally frame perfect. And that's the thing, that there's like all-in kind of playstyle that Aware have. When it works, it can work fantastically, but sometimes you get into those kinds of scenarios, and that is never anything you want to be in. All 6 players caught behind, well taken there by the Czechs. There was some resistance at the end with these straggling players coming back, but they've got themselves on the board, and we're now even Stevens.
Absolutely, into another mid-fight. This time Odin immediately charges straight. Lucas is his target this time, taking out his demo counterpart. Is going to be a nice opening. Going to see Excoling taking out Lupus, but does go down for it, and they're probably a bit wary to try and continue this fight. They know there's maybe not a demo, but at least a demo knight on the other side that they have to deal with. He's charging in once more, and immediately just onto that medic and taking it out at the moment, just proving his absolute worth as a pick class. Nice little bomb though onto Unforgiven, but doesn't quite find the rockets needed.
That's a really late death as well. This last hold is surely doomed now. There's so many players down with a full Uber. With an Uber, you might even need the Uber. The chariot of players onto the point. Odin gets a nice little frag, but it's all about just 6v3 Uber ad. That's never going to not work, because Aware get an instant response, shall we say. That round was just over a minute. That was speedruns.
Yeah, that was on mid-fight immediately losing good because the Demo Knight gets the opening frag, and then on second immediately losing because the Demo Knight gets the opening frag. Just rough stuff all round. Gonna have to look to kind of take a new approach. Really just gonna have to absorb that Demo Knight aggression and hope he doesn't just do as much damage as he did in this previous round.
Lucas this time has just put a ton of traps on the floor, and Odin flies through them and does not die despite being hit by 4 stickies, but Lucas now, the 2 kills for 1 onto the 2 bombing soldiers, will appear with his life, but that is a definitive mid-win. Lucas with the anti-strats really trying to hang on this mid, and he still goes down, but if you take that many down with you, it's 100% worth it, because the spawners are only just coming up on this last point for Aware. Pressure can already start, but the pressure is going to have to release, as now it's maybe Aware wanting to push back in.
Yeah, Blair doing his best to duke and dive away from that incoming Arantria soldier. They got caught a little bit short there, just thinking about moving in as the 6 spawners have come up. There's a nice bomb in controlling that, but he at the moment does get Ian up on the point. Too much damage coming into him. Lucas quite deep on the point, getting cap time himself. The scout isolation deep on Tabuko as well. They, as you say, do get the force out, and Blair will just kite it, having the Uber in hand.
He should just manage to sneak past everyone. Literally walked past the heavy completely. Just sneaked out behind. Trigger discipline. Only had 1 target on Misha's mind, and that was Unforgiven. And he gets a couple of good scattergun shots. Unforgiven. There's no, you have to force in those positions. He was down to about 10 HP. And now it's all about repush. Can they convert this Uber advantage? It's going to be a bit weird. You've got Odin actually running. Was that some stickies on point? I think there's stickies on point from Odin, a rare sight. But we do see him do these for these had last holds, as now it's going to be Lucas, all eyes on him in this Uber. He tries to get the gun down, going to try and get some kills behind this point as well, but that's the soldiers actually doing good amounts of damage too here on the Czech side. 3 down now, just the heavy that we're really looking to here on Aware's side to maybe try and get something going. It's just Buko, but Buko against so many players, I know there's 450 health to bunch through, but it's not quite enough. As Unforgiven, last man standing, has a good go at it, but not good enough. It's 2-2.
God, that's 2 frags already with the Uber Silver Blair. That's He's on a roll. He's doing his best. He's now saved a round and won a round for his team through the Uber Source. So big stuff from him, and might be putting some of his other teammates to shame so far.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's been important, right, on the last circle both times, so clutching up when the team needs it, but I'm looking back to this mid again. I want to see if they've got any counter-strat to what Lucas did last time around with these stickies. This time he's putting them a bit further forward as well, clearly aimed at whatever charge Odin might be running into them now, as Lucas has come for a big bump all the way around, landing in onto Lucas, and Lucas is taken down, and now the floodgates will open up. Now the stickies are cleared, as now everyone from the aware side is trying to barge their way through. They are getting frags. Blair is caught out in an awful position here out around Choke, but somehow ducking and weaving away on 9 HP. This man is a magician.
Yeah, they're going to catch SNH as well in that little... Did you say that's a frog side?
Yeah, that's frog. Yeah, that side, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for letting me know the call out to this map. I haven't casted though. Yeah, it's a newer map. I think I've casted it a few times, but it's fun and seeing some very dynamic gameplay at the moment.
Aggressive Uber. Oh, drop the scout! What?
Oh no, that's not real one. Actually, Unforgiving gets popped up in the air as well. Will escape just about for now. There's some rockets coming in. Actually, I'm going Odin, both going down. Do you get the foresight of Blair? But as long as he escapes, which looked rough for a minute there with Soldier in his face, but nice little surf from him, and impressive stuff so far from him actually, as they now Czechs move themselves onto this mid with I was going to say a bit of advantage, but it really isn't.
Yeah, it's one of those as well. I think they might have perhaps been worried it's disad because Unforgiven used so much earlier in that fight and just spent so long running away trying to just get out alive that it wasn't building particularly effectively. But now they're back on the last, they can start building up properly and they get their defenses set up. Omga already on the engineer. There's a sniper forward spawn who doesn't decide to overpeak too much. And now we settle in. And for the first time, maybe we're going to slow down, or I don't know, at this point, it probably just isn't, right? Like, we're probably just going to hurl ourselves face first to last for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we had that one kind of stage where we're trying to break the last hold in the first 5 minutes or so, but since then it has been hectic, back and forth roller coaster stuff, and Buko finds that deep snipe onto Lucas as they were trying to take that lobby area, and finds another one onto Coling. So 2 players down, perhaps an opportunity to make something happen, but as it is, I think they just want to peek their sniper further and further forward as he's on a bit of a roll.
And why not as well when you're hitting shots like that? Is Omga as well trying to peek forward, has dismantled the gun, and has just decided to take this aggressive trade into these players on second. This is a really ambitious play here, almost audacious you might say, from the aware team, and they might be paying for it. They're trying to get out. It looks like flank players on last are doing just about enough, but they can get messy. Trading Ubers out of last like that is not the textbook thing to do, and there's a reason why you can really get caught with your pants down on last, but again they're still trying to force this push out, and they're really just not taking their foot off the gas.
Absolutely Odin in the lobby area. There's so many players around it, but still manages to get the flag. There's a player though on last. It is going to be Coling doing his best, but Lupus, with the help of Buko, is able to just about clean it up. But the push from lower, the combo is now coming in. The reinforcements are in, but they're getting melted. Omga and Lupus doing their best. There's a little bit more health on Misha, but not too much support. He's had to just buy some time for his medic Blair to escape. And escape he's done all the way back to mid, and they are going to have a big Uber advantage here.
They are as well, and they might not even have to give up this second point because Lucas and Lenny are almost here to help. He's a combo scout and pocket soldier on the second point to maybe stabilise this. It looks like they have stabilised completely, and let's not forget this last point is still half capped as well, so this is going to be even more dangerous for the defence. We've got sticky bombs coming up from Odin, we've got a sentry gun getting built on the right hand side. We've already got an Uber charge flying in.
Yeah, Pyro as well trying to do their best to just puff those stickies away to defend that sentry gun, but it's not going to be enough. So much cap time is easy in the end of the day for the Czechs to claim a third round and now put themselves in the lead.
Yeah, what a comeback. This game has been lightning fast, back and forth. Just a mere few minutes ago, it was 2-1. Now it's 3-2. It's been a real scuffle, but the Czechs are really sort of coming into their own. These aggressive push-outs and this sort of aggressive nature, I think the Czechs are sort of getting a handle on it more and more as the game goes on, and I really think these situations, yes, we're down around now, they're going to have to keep up the aggression. There's nothing else you can do when you're running a demo night, but it's eventually going to stop working unless they start really coming up with something new.
See how they approach this next bit fight. Odin immediately straight in, kited pretty decently by Lucas, but not long enough to keep himself alive. They're able to clean up Odin, but with that demo trade, look how much position has been made. That is textbook space made by just a player charging in.
Absolutely, and honestly, from Lucas's perspective there, when you're caught in cheese with against a demo knight in point blank range, there is literally nothing you can do. Getting the 1-for-1 trade is about the best case scenario, but I believe we're having a pause. If nothing has mistaken me here, unless everyone's just stood perfectly still for a moment.
Yeah, everyone just wants to chill out.
Yeah, and honestly, we kind of need it, right? This game has been at 100 miles an hour for 20 plus minutes at this point. There's been no slowing down, no stopping, no catching our breaths, so maybe it's fairly nice. We can all just relax for a moment and sort of take stock.
Yeah, absolutely. It's has been pretty fast paced, as you say, and yeah, now moving. It is we're getting toward, just what, 8.5 minutes left. Kind of time where you really have to start thinking about, is this a scenario where, particularly from the Czech side, do you just want to slow the game down a little bit? We are obviously playing to the half-hour time set, so 1 point advantage is more than enough for them if they want. And as you say, if you're playing with a demo knight, you're always likely to be pressing the envelope, pushing forward, playing as aggressive as possible. But the Czechs obviously have that option of just playing a little bit slower, forcing their opponents into mistakes and trying to capitalize off the back of it.
There's also kind of the added pressure here that I think I mentioned a little bit beforehand. Like, Aware have to win this game to make playoffs. This map, they have to win. They have to win both maps. I think one of them is allowed to go to Golden Cap, and that's like worst case. And even then, I think they're really relying on other results and such. But Aware, like, they cannot afford to lose this 3-2. They really have to push on, and that might add to the pressure as we get the unpause coming through. Going to have an attempt at some pressure in from Cheese, but that's going to be the back of their mind for this next 8 minutes and 30 seconds of the potential consequences of this, as they've already lost Lupus out in Frog. Nice little find there from Lenny, and that might just stall things out unless SNH and Lucas really want to push the issue here in choke.
Yeah, obviously they don't have to worry about stickies at these kind of scenarios, so it allows them to just walk in quite far for this Uber trade. It's going to be a longer Uber for sure for Unforgiven, but for a couple of players going to be out of this post fight, they're going to have to think about exactly where they want to position. Unforgiven is caught in a very, very rough spot. Bomb into him now. Still manages to escape. Oh my god, Unforgiven, what a god. He had a soldier in his face for what seemed like about 30 seconds there, but he's able to come through with the solemn vow, with the frag. There we go.
Stole away that small health pack as well in the midst of it. Really fantastic play there from Unforgiven. The medics on both sides clutching up in crazy, unstoppable moments, to be quite honest, from these two teams. And the reward now is at least an even Uber situation. That could have been very bad had Unforgiven gone down, but now they can get themselves up. It can be both teams with Uber as we sit on this last point for the Czech side. Last time we were in this situation, Odin flew in and they forced instantly, and it was not lasting too long. This time around, they're going to use it instantly, but Unforgiven has been blasted away from these Ubered players, and everyone is going to get dropped in this. Yeah,
Odin got died to a sticky trap as well. It's looking very, very rough. Nice rocket from Kolink to find Omga, and Unforgiven gets cleaned up as well, and that is absolutely devastating defense. That is just perfect stuff there from the Czechs, and what looked like, an opportunity perhaps for Aware to bring themselves back level. Now they're going to have to bite the bullet of this potential comeback repush, but Buko with the headshot is maybe just going to slow down this momentum.
Yeah, it's really annoying angle to deal with here, up towards this cheese angle. They're going to have to maybe use this Uber charge at some point to try and burst through. SNH might be the next one to fall. If not, Odin charges in and is taken down. Lupus on the flank. He's actually going to go maybe try and start a back cap on this second point. No, he's just going to try and bait around in front, drag some players back. But now there is some re-push potential because it's one player down for the Czech team, and they are just going to have to retreat off on this. They're going to have to accept defeat and concede, and they are now on the rough end of the stick because Buko, still feeling confident after the sniper shots, is already pushing the issue with Chuck.
Lupus was in an awkward spot behind for quite a while there, but he's managed to smuggle himself back in to the support of his team, and now already aware, moving through now the right hand side, already into second. Gonna have to be given up. They are aware. Oh, they are aware, mind the pun, of the slight Uber advantage here that Unforgiven is going to have, and they're going to do their best to make the most of it. Already moving through now into the left side of this last push.
It might be slightly too slow though. Never mind though, it's not too slow, it's perfectly timed because Blair dies on 99% in the spawn shutter. It was just moments away from being an even Uber scenario, and if Blair is able to pop there, surely everyone on the Aware team dies. But they stay in this game, and they stay in perhaps the season for one moment longer, as now Aware, full Uber advantage, they can look to convert and equalise.
Moving in, takes out the sentry gun very, very quickly. There's a Uber soldier Lupus in towards spawn. One attempt from Lenny to just try.
Yet Blair only just using onto this point. They're just going to try and save as many players as they can, but Buko, the one casualty.
Yeah, gonna hold on for now. It is gonna be. It is a very, very small Uber advantage for Unforgiven, but I imagine here the Blair's going to be able to build this, and it's basically probably not really going to be pushable at the end of the day. They are. They're playing it pretty dedicated, cautiously. They've got the sentry gun going up. They're building super hard with the scouts. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to make it work, I think, even if they were to attempt it from a while.
Yeah, with a sniper as well, and just they just rolled out with Buko. That has been checked. I believe it was SNH went onto the spy class just for a moment to off-class check, but now it's down to these sacks. They do have a sniper we've seen in good shots already, but last time it was actually into last. It's been Odin who's really been trying to make these initial pushes work, trying to get the forces, trying to get all this all-important damage over onto these combo players, mainly going to be Blair, but Lucas as well has been caught a couple of times, and now they're going to try and barge their sniper in from this far left-hand side, but they're taking so much damage from these soldiers that they just can't seem to find a way in here and Aware.
They don't have too much time to work with. I mean, the round timer and the map timer are just about matching up now, so there's a couple of minutes now to work with. Trying to peek in from the right side, Buko finds a close range headshot onto Lenny, who was the player tasked with shutting him down, providing the spam on that side, making sure the sniper doesn't hit anyone else but takes the headshot for his trouble. The Uber trade is going out. Odin caught in the spawn deck is going to be finished off, but they've lost a couple of players here. Oh, an important frag from Coling on the left-hand side of that lobby area, and it's going to allow Czechs to think about pushing out here, but maybe just want a little bit of territory with a couple of minutes to work with.
Absolutely, yeah, even capping up this second point and not over-committing to staying is maybe useful. Lupus is going to try and sneak in behind for a back cap, and that would be a very awkward way to end things off, but the bombs under point are swept up very nicely by Lucas. It's a backstab from Lupus over onto Lenny. Now Arentry are maybe looking to fight this on this second point. It could be getting a bit dicey here as players fleeing themselves, and Arentry and Omga both going to go down. It's sort of last-ditch saloon here for Aware, and they know it. They're trying everything they can on these sack players, but really well handled there from the Czechs.
Yeah, very, very nice stuff. Lucas just so impressive being able to defend himself in those close range scenarios. Had a scout in his face, no worries, just going to tank the heals and absolutely demolish him. And yeah, Aware just doing their best, rolling the dice, knowing they had to try and make it happen, didn't really want to settle for another stalemate. And as it is, they are being aptly defended. Once more, Lucas is just farming damage in this choke point, and he wants a little bit more, just going to jump forward, knowing with 40 seconds remaining, I think it's more or less impossible for them to lose this round, and are probably going to press on and maybe get a fourth go for a fourth round to cap it out.
They may as well try. 30 seconds left. I think even with full pain trains and everyone stacking up all the points, it's maybe not possible for Aware to get back into this. So their journey for this season will end after this offie. But as we say, there might still be a chance for one final push. 15 seconds left. It looks like it might be boring here on the Czech side. So maybe not anything too funny going on. There's two soldiers trying to get in onto last. Because, yeah, why the hell not? You may as well give it a go. We're going to have a sniper coming in, already getting a frag onto Lenny as the timer ticks down at 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And there we have it. There will be no Demo Night in playoffs this season.
I'm sure everyone is very, very upset about that. At least in Twitch chat, I don't know how much the players will be mourning that fact.
Well, I did say that. At least Odin will not be in playoffs. And I'm not putting it off. There's other people who've threatened to pull out Demo Night this season who are demos for other teams. I should clarify, it's the Odin Demo Night we're not seeing in playoffs this season.
Yeah, there's still hope. There's still hope we can see some other guys bring the Demo Night out maybe in the playoffs. It's I mean, it's been proven reasonably effective at least. You know, it certainly did a lot of work. Obviously, the Aware team at the end of the day didn't quite come through. I mean, I think it was some nice adaptation, to be honest, from czuraci. They were really finding their way. I think they were a little bit out of sorts. You know, the first 3 moments. You know, it's always a little bit different when you are playing against the Demo Knight, when you are having to worry about him just charging in your face. You do not have much time to react. And, you know, however much you kind of talk about it before the game, however much you theory craft, it is very, very different when you've got that split second to react in-game in real time. But they did really, I feel, adapt super, super well. And as the game went on, they really went from strength to strength.
Oh, absolutely. And I really think, like, we saw the first few moments of this game, right? They get instantly, you know, had a rough first round. And the second round, they basically get through the weird back cap kind of scenario. It was kind of I know it was a weird one. And then after that, they instantly get mid-lasted. And I'm thinking at this point, Aware might be running away with this. Okay, it's 2-1 up. The one round that the Czechs got was, well, maybe, I'm not going to say a fluke, but it was a fortunate turn of circumstances. But after that, like at the midway point in the game, they really locked in on the Czech side. And like you say, they had some great adaptations, because you have to, like, they wouldn't have played, they've played this game for years, right? Some of these players on this Czech roster have been around the sort of top echelons of TF2 now for going up to almost 10 years. And like, they are, you never, in that entire time, they may well have never faced a Demo Night. Even like in scrims, in offies or whatever, it's just not a thing we face. So you have to just work it out on the fly. And like you say, there's people say all sorts of stuff in Twitch chat as well. Like Twitch chat can be pretty bad for this. They'll say, "Oh, just do this, just do that." I don't know. If you're a medic, just pop as soon as you hear the charge. Just have your soldiers sit on height and spam the whole time, whatever. Right? But in the
Just
moment,
run the perma heavy.
yeah, exactly right. There's everyone's got an excuse for this sort of, "Oh, just do this, it'll be fine." Like in the moment, it's hard to do. And the Czechs actually, like, they didn't pull out any crazy strats like that, but they did, like, they changed how they played, and they played a lot slower and a lot more methodical, and it really worked out for them. So honestly, credit to czuraci.
Yeah, absolutely. Did have some numbers flashed up there. I don't think anything was really standing out too much for me. I mean, Odin ended up 20 kills, 20 deaths. Basically meant every time he was charging in, he was getting a kill. But it is a very different kind of game style where you're basically expecting your demo to be your kind of frontline kind of pick class, your initiation as well. So soldiers have to play kind of a different kind of role, I think, and didn't quite work out. Neither of the soldiers for Aware put up great numbers. I mean, they had some good moments for sure, but yeah, it's weird. You've almost got kind of three disposable initiation classes there with the Demo Knight.
One day, Space Maid is going to get added to a stat on logs, and then like soldier mains can actually get their justice. For all these years of going like 12 and 21 with, like, you know, mediocre DPM, like, you don't realize, like, you know, they're constantly high bombing in, they're constantly making space for the scouts to come in the team to walk forward. But yeah, like you say, it's having these like 3 disposable classes. It really, like, it ups the ante in every situation. Like you cannot be like timid and turtle. You constantly, like, in every situation, have to be hurling yourself forward at the fastest speed that you possibly can. And yeah, it's a fight or die kind of style, and this time they died, but maybe this next map, maybe the next season, if we're looking that far forward on, it could turn out differently because every season they're getting better and better at playing around it.
Yeah, they seem to be, they seem to be onto something. A lot of teams have been struggling at playing against this. They think they can just, deal with the fact there is this Demo Knight who, traditionally isn't thought of as being very, very strong at all. And, at the end of the day, it is a different kind of experience, but teams have been struggling to adapt. We've seen the Czechs do a good job. We've seen at least one other team this season doing a pretty good job of shutting down the Demo Knight. But the thing is, you're not going to shut it down 24/7. You're not going to stop any player in Prem, really. If they want to get frags, if they want to get picks, they are going to make it happen. But you just got to make the overall kind of macro situation work out in your favor, and that was kind of what the Czechs did, particularly in those latter rounds of that first map. Different map now, process. Any kind of inkling in terms of whether it's going to play? How is it going to play out very, very differently, or are you expecting to see kind of similar kind of scenarios as we saw in Sultry?
It's kind of weird because whenever I think process, I think scouts, and when I think scouts, I'm looking at these teams, and maybe this is controversial, maybe this is uncontroversial. I think the scouts on this server are some of the best players. Looking across both teams, I think the Omgar and Buko combo is absolutely ludicrous, and I'd argue has been the best part about this team since they've been playing Div 1 recently and such. I think this combo has been absolutely lethal, and you can see some crazy stat lines, some crazy aggressive Ubers being taken. But on the other side as well, like SNH and Misha have had some great stats. SNH in particular had 340, 350 DPM last map. I know maybe we can cope and say a lot of it was just shooting a Demo Knight who couldn't charge, who was just stood in front of him after killing Lucas, but at the end of the day it adds up. But I'm seeing... Now, I'm giving the politician answer now. Now we're going to go back to the actual answer to the question. I think we're probably going to see more of the same. I saw Where the other week on process when they beat Aragosta on it, and I wasn't honestly that impressed. I feel like at least Demo Knight felt fairly one-dimensional in the mid-fights. There's not a great catalogue of things that you can try. And I just think it's that much of an open map that the soldiers, it's so much distance to carry to get in, and I think we're going to be seeing a 6-0 in this week.
Well, not long to wait. The teams are ready to get going.
Oh, they're on Sniper.
Either way.
Sniper,
we're seeing. Oh my god.
Never mind, throw everything in the bin what I just said. Never mind, they're just going to run Sniper at mid instead. Alright.
Here we go. Mid-fight, big bombs in from both of the soldiers. That's not what you want to see if you've got a Sniper rolling out. It's going to be SNH with the first frag onto a run through. Oh, it's going to be Odin. Launched miles up in the air, but doesn't really find very much. Yeah, they're doing their best here where to make it work, but it's a rough time, and now Unforgiven is caught quite far forward, just a Sniper to defend them, as SNH and actually Lucas Demo lands on top of him. It's going to be pretty conclusive mid-fight victory. There is Lupus behind.
Yeah,
he's hiding.
This is actually quite a clever play, but it seems like the Czechs went sort of one step forward. Unless Blair dies, please. Okay, there we go. Blair doesn't die. I was going to say that's a clever play because if you're expecting the majority of the Czech combo to walk forward and start looking out second and looking out lobby, you might be able to catch a single player unaware of mid as the cap is still coming through. But the Czechs, they're so aware of this. They know where everyone can be on the map at all moments. They rotate their entire team back, deal with the threat, they deal with the Iron Tree bomb. And now they're with full Uber ad, and because Unforgiven was the last to die as well previously, that Uber is not coming up for a very, very long while. But you know what is coming up? It's the red Uber from the Czechs. They push to this right-hand side. They're going to try and collapse left in the post. Kolding's going to be in, Lenny's going to be in, lots of high ground taken, only 3 players left up. And this is surely unholdable at this point. There's a Revolver Spy coming out as well. This is Are we in garbage time in the first round?
I don't know. Is this, I guess this is BM. I mean, they had 2 soldiers up in panic room. Maybe eventually felt it was already over. Rolls out and Spy Maybe he misclicked, I don't know, maybe he was BMing the enemy team. He is, did get banned recently for flaming in chat. Got banned for a couple of weeks, so that is kind of something you might expect from him, but either way it's going to be a pretty conclusive first round here from the Czechs.
And again, it's going to be the sniper coming up from Buko. Last time didn't land any shots. This time going to look for something a bit better. Still going to be running out from this choke. Lenny going to be very aggressive into enemy sewer, but Aaron Trium is all well cognizant of that one. Gets it, and Odin flies. He gets a kill onto Misha. It's going to be the Persian Persuader this time around, as now his last couple of players on the Czechs try and hurl themselves in. Lucas, the last one to have a go, but he gets sat down.
That was an insane shot from Buka. That was nuts.
Beautiful stuff. And there we go, Sniper to mid. I said it was awful first time around. This time around, showing the real power it can have. And I've got to say, you do have to have aim like Buko to make it work, as he hits another one here on to the Soldier of Lenny on this last point. The Sniper, excuse me, on last. Bring that SVS, and now 5v6. Trying to hold with full dis, and not going to be great for this defending Czech side. Look how late they used the Uber as well on Unforgiven. This is surely unholdable.
Yeah, everyone's stuck very, very sadly in Spore. The Uber did eventually fade, but by the time it had faded, players were getting on the cap, and everyone's just doing their best to hide away from that Buko sniper, but he seems he'd taken just about everyone's head off through the course of that round, and that is a quick firing back from an aware team that maybe have some life in them. Maybe they haven't quite thrown in the towel yet.
It may be weird, right? Because they've obviously they probably, I'm not sure how much of the maths they've done. They maybe know that they're already not making playoffs after that first map. So now, like at this point, they're probably thinking there's nothing to lose. It sort of lets them play a bit freer, a bit looser, and the sniper to mid is certainly indicating that for me, because Buko once again peeking in from this choke as they've got Odin all the way behind too. This is a real mess of a mid fight so far, but it's a mess in which the Czechs have taken pretty much all the space, and it's all these last couple of players just fling themselves in. Blair and Lucas, the two to fall, so it's the two priority picks you're wanting here if you're aware, but how long can they hang on to the rest of their combo, because everyone on the Czech team is crunching forward. Aware using the gunboat's plug-in changes to its great effect there. It's catching the Soldier, but Unforgiven dies, and again it's a mega late death.
Yeah, absolutely. Just not enough players really to defend Unforgiven there. It's a rough time for him. I mean, Buko, very good sniper. Odin, very good demo knight, but I don't think there's a lot of synergy between these two classes.
Well, they've run it for years. I think I want to say back in when this team was in like Div 4, they had like Odin and Wizat was perma sniping, I think, at some point. But maybe less than about that name the better, given what eventually came of Wizat. But it's something they have played with before. But like perma on approaches like this with someone like Buko, it's a whole other level.
Don't worry, I'm sure this team has learned their lessons and everyone is fully legit now.
Okay, that's fair. I'll believe you.
As it is, it's going to be an Uber just thrown in through the choke point. They're going to think about, Unforgiven goes very low. Actually gets finished off there. SNH finding that frag as he got pretty close to the Uber, but it's not going to be enough to save Blair. The charge comes in, takes out that medic, and that Lucas now is alone and sad. There's going to be another taunt come out from Andrea, and despite the taunt, is able to survive throughout all of it.
That was I was about to compliment how great that Uber looked, because it was an Uber check, right? Because the only reason they had that ad is because Unforgiven died like 10 seconds later on mid, maybe more like 15 seconds later. Like, it wasn't a massive advantage, so they had to fling themselves in as fast as they could and get onto Unforgiven, and they get the pick instantly. But then in kind of an unfortunate scenario where they're all on low ground in the middle of the point, and there's players on all sides trying to get in and trying to just collapse completely. And it was again a great coordinated collapse from the aware team, as now they're showing another coordinated collapse onto the second point, as SNH is going to go down to the sword of Odin, who is going to charge in once more on to Lucas. But meanwhile, there's a forlorn hope for sack from Lenny, and it's going to be kind of an unusual situation. It's going to be a sniper and that's still up, so down a scout essentially, and a soldier still spawning up. Uber advantage for aware, but like, how much can they do with this? Well, maybe quite a lot, because they have caught Lucas already.
Yeah, charge in, takes out the demo man, means they don't have to worry about these stickies on the point. Scout is going to be able to just stand on top of Omga. Eventually, Uber's popped out onto save, and Buko is a beautiful shot onto Koning, who was trying to block the point, but does get sniped in midair, and it is going to be another round for Aware.
Fantastic stuff, and again, it's just like these rounds are kind of, I don't know, this is not normal sixes, I'm going to say. This is not anything you would ever normally tune into Essentials to watch in a normal Prem season, right? This is constant aggression back and forth. There's now a crits even up on Blair, like, just decides, you know what, if we're just going to get focused down to the point of not getting Uber in time on mid, there's maybe a chance of getting a crits up. There's going to be still the sniper up, but there's going to be a bit of a slower posture here for the side of Aware until Odin flings in and gets the gun to Lucas. Sniper gets a kill over onto Blair too, and they have really stepped it up a notch here on this second map. Just honestly, like, not even in the way of like coordination or anything, just the playmaking is just working every time from Aware. Like, I don't feel like they're doing anything different, it's just working.
Yeah, I don't think it's any kind of giga brain mastermind, it's just the demo is always getting a pick when he's charging in, and your sniper is just hitting absolutely everything just now, so that kind of helps when your players are quite skillful at the game.
Yeah, absolutely, and now it's going to be another crits attempt from Blair in this last point, but they're already dropping 2 players, including the Kritzkrieg medic. Aaron Trier in the spawn shutter, not letting anyone get out from this right-hand spawn, and cap time can already start coming through, but players are getting dropped on the point here for Aware. This is very messy. This is very awkward for these last couple of players. Just Unforgiven and Buko left alive, and the sniper might actually be looking to try and cap this out. No way they allow it to happen. The collapse comes in. Uber charge dropped as well from Unforgiven, and there was maybe a bit of an ambitious walk forward there just of the sniper, but Uber charge in plays, yeah, maybe not what you'd usually see for a medic in that scenario.
Yeah, I was getting nervous, to be honest. Like, they were standing at that point a little bit too long for my liking, when it was just being a medic and a sniper, and I was worried that, you know, Buka hit maybe one more shot and it could have been a different story, but as it is, it's going to be a mid-push coming in. They're trying to do their best to kite the Demo Knight. There's a Soldier Lupus as well to deal with. He gets cleaned up eventually by the pistol, and everyone's just chilling back a little bit. They lost a couple of players here, they lost a bit of momentum. They are still on the Kritzkrieg, and it is going up to 90% now, so they're probably just going to wait a few seconds for their spawners and bring the crits.
This could be lethal. This could be absolutely lethal. Lucas with the big crits landing in onto Unforgiven, onto Buko. Maybe going to get some more as well on this low ground, but not quite, as Odin ends the party here for the Czechs, as it's only going to be those 2 that dies that first crit sticky. And the rest of the team looking very, very healthy, apart from the scout on point, because Kolig has come in and got 2 here on the recollapse. Lenny going to be coming in as well. Lupus maybe not long for this world either, as he just escapes a rocket there on the way out from the choke. But somehow, and I don't quite know how, I'm not going to say it because I actually do not know how the Czechs have held on to this. Like, this post-fight looks abysmal, but somehow, like 3v5, they just come in and, you know, it works.
Oh, bomb now onto...
Oh,
but yeah, really, really nice turns actually to escape there. Thought he had his number there, absolutely, but it's going to be...
Lucas!
Get
Unforgiven.
Yeah, that is the bomb they needed. Lenny coming in, and now there's just Odin propelled up in the air. Omga doing his best to try and salvage something, but running into just a blob of players on that cap point. You know, they took out Blair, so there's going to be actually a tiny advantage for Unforgiven, probably not workable, but is at least going to be a relatively even scenario. Thinking about moving on to second here are the Czechs, but with not too many bodies to work with, maybe we'll decide better of it.
This game is so weird, man. Like, it just... Normal things aren't happening like they should normally be happening, as Buko peeks in, gets a kill into Lenny, and now the floodgates really open as 1 soldier goes down, 1 doorway not getting spammed out as Aaron Trier bombing all the way forward. Lucas takes a ton of damage but takes down players with him there in the choke, and it's all eyes now on Misha to try and escort Blair out alive. Blair has escaped and Misha actually wants more. He's going to still fight around 1v3. There's some low HP players as well over on the blue side of Aware, and somehow he's still in this. Misha, the entire Czech team is riding on your current government efforts, and they are actually able to trade out 1-for-1 with Aaron Trier, and the floodgates can reopen, and now the Czechs get back in. How on earth did Misha live for that long?
Yeah, it took a while, but there were kind of no scouts on that mid point to really fight him, so it's just like this sniper doing his best to play the duck hunt game, and soldiers just absolutely flailing around trying to land a rocket. And those scouts, these top scouts like Misha, are they are slippery. They are difficult to hit, even when you've got hits kind of like the sniper rifle. But as it is, it's going to be Uber advantage. Push now coming in from the Czechs. Unforgiven caught, kind of awkward scenario on the left hand side. Not going to be able to survive and get his Uber up. Couple of frags here for the Czechs. Attempt from Lupus to make it, but focusing the medic is not an ideal scenario in that post-Uber position, and it is going to be a pretty clean capture there of the last point, and we are going to bring us to parity of 2-2.
I'm not gonna lie, like, with these fights, like I'm so glad that we have like bars on either side of the screen that tell us the Ubers, right? Because otherwise I'd be hopeless with this. Like, I'd have no idea when teams have Uber, when teams are going for trades back and forth, because it's constant just back and forth with like players dying left and right all the time. Every single fight, it's like, I don't know, it's something I see quite a lot, like, because I cast a fair bit at lower div games as well, where like there's never like the point where a team realizes, wait, this fight is going bad, let's leave. That just doesn't happen. I've never really seen that happen. It's everyone fight till you die, really go in and give it your all.
Honestly, I feel like the players are not exactly sure what the Uber story is there. Like, given Unforgiven's position on the last point, that is not where you'd expect a Premiership medic to be, but as
it's
it
like
is...
70 dis at as well, right? Like, it wasn't really that close.
They kind of, it wasn't 70, it was like 40, but yeah, definitely could have potentially played back in spawn if we're playing optimally, if we're playing the kind of Kader style. But that is not how we want to play the game, I don't think. And they're really just pushing the chaos factor to the maximum, and we need to make it for an entertaining game at least.
Yeah, entertaining in the sense that things are happening, right? Like, you're not having these really long stalemates that Twitch chat always complains about, and instead we're getting this constant kind of back and forth. Like, I don't know, it's almost like we have the mid fight, you flip a coin, then you have fight on second instantly afterwards and flip a coin, and it's like if you win like 3 in a row, you just cap blast and win. But you can always just bounce back and forth. That's kind of the way we're going at, and like that you never like slow down to think, okay, we'll wait a moment and we'll try and run a sack or something. Like, I haven't actually seen like an even Ubers let's sack players in kind of scenario. Like, that just hasn't happened yet. And it happened like once, I think, on Sultry. And this map, again, with the Perma Sniper, with the Demo Knight, I really doubt we're seeing it much here either, because, again, this mid is off to a lightning fast start here for the Aware side, but Lupus was maybe a bit too fast because he's already been caught out. Luco's going to have to rotate all the way around to IT, and this is maybe not the ideal angle for dealing with these players sat by the rock, unless he can peek in and find the angle. It nearly lands over onto the rest of this combo, but really nicely handled here from the Czechs. They might be able to cut off Unforgiven on the retreat. Lenny Lucas both lighting up explosives on the sewer door, and that's a clean mid win.
Yeah, they kind of got caught in an awkward position there. Where they lost that soldier early, and then put themselves in a position where their medic couldn't really escape. We had that kind of rotation where both were playing towards each other's choke. Rancher is going for something. I don't know exactly what that was. It may be a little bit more BM coming out.
That cannot be optimal play there from Aaron Trier, but that is because Luca was strictly Ubercharged straight away from Blair. As Cap comes through, I think we had a disconnect in the middle of all that as well from one of the Czech players, but it's not going to matter, even despite the medic going down, which is best case scenario for a sniper in that situation. There just isn't enough, like, I don't know, there's not enough damage and like bodies pointed at the point in these holds to like even do anything. Yeah, you can kill players, but at the end of the day, it's the circle that matters. The big circle on the ground. Like, something has to be done. Get a gun, get a heavy, get some soldiers spamming, get some stickies, whatever, but it's mid again.
Absolutely, it's going to be Lupus and Rantre in first again and out first again into the respawn queue first again. Big casualties. A lot of damage has been done down onto the Czechs, but they still have 6 players ready to go. Lucas landing in the choke point finishing off Unforgiven, and it is a bit of a log padding at the moment for the Czechs. They claim that about as cleanly as you could like.
This is where I wasn't paying enough attention. Were they on was that like an airstrike rollout or something, or was that just like a mega fast rollout? Because I know there's like the airstrike rollout you can do on Protest where you like land really high into enemy choke. They did seem to be going that kind of height, but for now it's just going to be the direct hit up on Aaron Trier for this last hold into full discard. So not much splash potential onto the point.
Gets the force.
Okay, that maybe is worth it. It's a very late spawn, and now Lenny has managed to sneak in on the other side and can just lock this spawn shutter for now. Gonna get a couple of nice rockets over onto Unforgiven, who will be going down at the third rocket fired from that launcher. As we're now 4-2, maybe not long left in this one. The Czechs seem to be riding free.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a quick shout out to both Fancy and DQZ. I did see raided the channel here earlier, so thank you for that. Thank you for the support. And hopefully everyone's enjoying this game who's coming from those streams.
Well, 4-2, 13 minutes left, still time. This raid rounds are coming in out for practically anything to happen, but one round from the Czechs will end it here and now. This time round it's going to be a bit of a slower mid, still the perma sniper coming up from Buko, but not able to land anything just yet from these bombs. Lewis first of all, Aaron Trier bombing in, trying to land something, but they're just getting absorbed perfectly. This Czech team, they have again adapted as the game's gone on, and that's another cooling wipe, and this game might not be going off much longer at all now because 78% Uber on Blair. They're looking out spawns already, and it's looking pretty grim for Aware.
Yeah, I'm not sure if all 6 players are trying at this stage.
I'm not.
Going to be some spawn camping. There's still the second cap only just coming down.
Yeah, they dropped the demo in this as well. Lucas going down might make this a bit weird for this last hold. They're down a soldier as well. I think we're going to hold this somehow.
Yeah, they baited the opposition into false sense of security, thinking they weren't trying, but they absolutely were. And yeah, second cap didn't come in time, and despite being locked in spawn, doesn't really matter if you're not able to put any cap time on that last point. So be able to push out to second. Probably just going to continue the role going at the moment. Potentially, this game is over obviously if the Czechs do cap out one more round, but they're thinking about how they want to approach this, and Buko is going to start things off with a nice little headshot. They're going to find Koling in the choke as well. Trying to move through with this Uber. Blair's quite close to getting up Uber himself, so they'd just be probably happy to give a mid for it.
Yeah, Lenny's going to try and get out. He's actually allowed to escape. Was all the way behind his sewer, did a good job there, just able to live. But now Blair does have an Uber charge up and ready to use. It's not going to have to be used yet on that first soldier, but now the second soldier and the Demo Knight flying in are going to eventually get this force out. Lucas just getting soloed on for the moment. Misha has finally joined in from the respawn queue, and it's going to be a bit of a weird post fight here with a sniper and a Demo Knight. Never normally what you want to have in these kinds of situations. As Lucas getting actually just boxed completely by Omgar on the low ground. He finally goes down, but look how many resources Aware have thrown into this fight on second, and they've kind of got nothing to show for it now.
Oh, that's a nice little headshot onto Misha from Buko. That's his. Perhaps probably going to give his team a chance to continue this fight. They've got 3 picks now to work with. It looked all doom and gloom. Kind of sniper kind of getting caught in the corner as they were moving. The opposition was kind of steamrolling them into mid. But as it is, one little headshot is enough. Odin gets caught by a trap, but is able to just tank his way through it. So will survive for now. And now in a scenario where it's decent advantage for Blair, but with them caught on last, I'm not sure if they're going to really want to try and make anything from it.
Sniper v sniper, it's Lenny who's decided to come up with it this time around, but he's going to be having to put it down pretty quickly because Odin has flown in and lopped off his head with the Persian Persuader. Now Uber Trade going to come in, and 2 players getting caught instantly in this trade. SNH going to be in onto Blair, and onto Buko, excuse me, behind, and onto Odin. So this Uber has kind of just killed everything. Unforgiven and Onga last 2 up, trying to escape out and choke, but it might well just be allowed to do so. Of Unforgiven, he's getting spawners just with a fraction of a second to spare there. Otherwise, Unforgiven could have been in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah, clutch timing on those spawners for sure. They're hiding around the corner at the moment. Everyone's kind of hiding, waiting for the players coming through the choke. Direct hits coming in from Lupus. S&H taken out. And still scrapping around this choke point. There's a Demonite charging, just about whiffing everything at the moment, but he's still going, he's still alive, still turning some heads. Eventually Nisha is able to clean him up, but it's bought enough time for Omga to just charge in off the distraction and take out Blair. But just about everyone, other than the Sniper Buka, has gone down for it, so yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those, they got a nice little coordinated play to kill Blair in the salvage, but they did lose literally all of their team free, because Buko died at the start of that fight. But Buko is not going to be dying without taking 2 players down with him here on the midpoint, and that might have bought time for a couple more spawners to come through, where now we're into, again, another weird situation, these post-fights. Lucas is going to be up in time on choke to get some heals and maybe refight into mid, but with 2 players down, the space is still held by Aware. S&H running forward, doing great work, but Odin once more in onto Blair.
Yeah, they do clean up Odin, but now they're going to have to get their boots on and thinking exactly how they want to approach this. You can see Unforgiven is already worried about the incoming surge of players. They are, I mean, they're just chilling at the moment. I thought they'd really make a play to go on for the medic, but they have thought better of it. Gonna clean up a run. Actually finds a nice rocket onto Lucas.
That was really nice. I thought he was going to go for the really high air shot, but just gets him when he lands and wins out that fight. And now, big advantage. It's Omga's turn on this map to take the Ubers. I presume we're not taking any more sniper Ubers. But there might actually be no real need to take an Uber for a moment, because midpoint is getting capped up for free. Blair still on about 40 disad as they start walking up to this choke here on Aware, and it's all about can they get in, can they get enough space with their Uber, and can they get space without using their Uber, because they've ripped off the head of the demo once more. Buko hitting shot after shot after shot, and Lucas just can't catch a break.
Yeah, bit of a rough time as it is. Buko's just playing so nonchalantly. He's just walking in rollout with none of his team around him. Gonna walk in from 3 now. Yeah, it's going to be Uber trade with Omga caught quite deep here, and the medic as well, Unforgiven caught pretty deep. Oh my god, Omga just gets juggled up, but Odin is on the point. They're going to have to deal with him. There's still a sniper they have to worry about. He finds a headshot onto Lucas, and it is just about going to be Aware coming through in a pretty unconventional last push there.
This game makes no sense. I what are we watching? This is crazy stuff. Great work in the post fight once more. Like, it's in these chaotic scenarios where, like, I don't know, because Aware they're so practiced in these situations of when like nothing makes sense, they can somehow make like some semblance of logic come out of it and like coordinate something in a post fight. Whereas, you know, like the Czechs, they're trying to play normal TF2 and they're getting caught out. That Uber trade didn't look too great until the very last moment when that collapse came in. Odin did great work, and now on this mid fight again, Odin going to fly in with his usual jump across the point, but he is going to be taken out quickly.
Yeah, he's going to go down very quickly. They still have some players to work with. They've still got Buko in that choke point. Omga has the beam on top of him, is just about going to be able to shake SH. Oh, actually, nice little shot onto SH from a run-through, but he goes down in the meantime. They still have this medic in sewer, sniper in choke. It is a very, very scattered gameplay, and both medics have been put into the respawn queue. There's going to be no Ubers to worry about.
The medic union are going to be complaining about that. There's going to be a strike or something, because both teams just left their medic alone in like 1v2s, and just like, it was a 3v3, but the 2 combat classes just instantly just avoided their own medic and just chased after the other one and left him in impossible situations. And it had the logical result, right? Both medics die, nobody else dies, and we get into another scrappy DM fight afterwards. But this time around,
this does look like pre-game DM, I've got to be honest.
Honestly, like, this is like so DM, right? This is...
Yeah.
These fights, just like, no one is like, I don't know, there's very little like taking position or like playing around heals or like, you know, just going for anything too coordinated. He's kind of jumping in and dying.
There's always that one jerk on the sniper in Soap DM that no one wants to deal with.
And he's killing everything against, so, you know, like... Oh dear. S&H might live in IT, maybe? No, the friends are all there. No, never mind. Lupus was losing the fight and just decided to call in all the gang.
Yeah, there's a wipe in the end of the day for the Czechs. Not exactly sure why. I think they just lost the will to live.
As they, the sniper got 2 as they came in, which wasn't the greatest start, but now they've got a gun on second and going to try and hold something, but...
Well, second is going to go down here for Aware. Opportunity to level things up in this game. We're going to see Sniper Buko peeking in from the rollout. Going to tag the Scout SLH quite low. The Uber's going deep into the spawn area. It's going to allow the baddie bind from Lucas. Now he's going to continue to put damage down onto the point. Nice little air shot, although it was onto an Ubered Scout, so probably doesn't count for either the logs or.
But Buka's still hitting things though. Buka's still just stood like completely allowed to do as he pleases around rollout. Now over towards 3, and he's just picking off heads left and right. Buko has, I wouldn't say single-handedly, but he played a massive part in that Uber being successful, and it was just him and Omga getting the kills in the Uber and Buko killing the people out of the Uber.
Yeah, it must be frustrating to play against. You're trying to deal with all these pesky players in the foreground that are getting in your face, and it's just this one guy at the back just hitting absolutely every headshot. You're just losing 150 health every couple of seconds. It's a sad time for the Czechs. I can't imagine they're having too much fun as it is right now. But
the thing is with the Czechs, they actually, if they want to, like, okay, in terms of their playoff hopes, like, getting a full 3 points on this second map is fairly important. I'm not saying it's imperative, but it would help a lot for their playoff hopes, because they are still in the game, they are still in the battle to try and get this going, and Lucas has hit some really nice pipes. This mid is going to pay with his life eventually, but not without taking 3 down with him. Lenny last up for the Czechs on mid, because this like clutch up play from the 2 flank players over on Aware has gone the way of the flank of Aware.
Oh, nice little rocket there onto Roger, dunking him down, making sure he can't escape. He's going to create it in his own choke. I have to say, as much as we, see the sniper at his high impact and everything he's doing, Omga is slowly being accelerated in his way into the game. Probably didn't have the greatest first map of all time, but obviously played a lot more combo-centric, played a lot more heal-heavy, and is started to really put the work in winning some important duels. But now the bomb is in onto Unforgiven. He's going to get cleaned up. No escape for him. Lupus goes down as well, and with 2 minutes left, we're at 4-4, still fighting over mid. Can one of these teams just really push on and put us out of our misery here?
Why were Aware still all stood in choke at the end of that fight? Like, it really, like, the mind boggles. I am genuinely, like, I have not seen TF2 like this in a long time. And like I say, the Czechs, like, okay, they kind of, I don't know, once they threw that post fight, but like losing their medic there makes a big difference. And losing SNH as well makes an even bigger difference, because Buko is on a tear once more. Misha's going to try and go in behind and get something done on the flank, but it's not going to work out. Blair just given in at this point and just come up on crits again, because like the Ubers kind of make no difference anyway. Everyone's walking through traps and choke, and they get deaded at nearly the right time. It's a blind death from Lucas, who has had to run all the way back, and it looks like Aware are still trying to fight this in onto second. They are really pushing the envelope here and trying to get through, and not looking great for them so far, except this Demonite kill onto Lucas.
Yeah, I just really targeted Lucas this map for sure. He's just been going in for him every opportunity. Tries to go into the middle this time. But yeah, the crits is out, but it's probably not going to fare too well into the Uber. Omgo is just biding his time. Didn't find too much damage though into that Uber. Now they really don't have too many players to work with, and SNH is just there to clean everyone up. Omgo and Unforgiven taken out. Just the direct hit of Lucas to worry about. Went for a speculative air shot, I would say, there onto Lenny.
I thought he was going to try a fast roll out and get it onto Blair, but not going to be. As with 24 seconds left, there is a world where they could end this in regulation. It's maybe possible. Odin making it tough though in choke, getting a good couple of kills there, including one onto the medic, and I think we might. The misery may last a little bit longer, because we may well be going to Golden Cap.
Hooray, we're going to get more of this gameplay.
See how the stream crashed earlier? Like,
you thought Beats were just given up.
And imagine if that just like conveniently happened again. Like, imagine.
That would be horrible.
We joke.
Never wish that on people.
This is like, as much as I joke, this might genuinely be quite an important golden cap for the Czechs in terms of like their points on the board, because their last offie of the season, they've still got one offie after this one. Their last offie is against Nandem, who, okay, they've been running varying rosters this season with sort of varying effects. But if you look man for man, it's probably the best team in the div this season. It's a mixture of like the anti-side players from last season, the Mandem players from last season. There's a lot of strong players in that team, and so the Czechs kind of don't want to go into the final week knowing, okay, we have to get like at least a map off these guys, or even 2 maps against these guys. Like they really want like every point they can scrape off of this offie. Like it will add up, and it will matter going into that final week. So they kind of have to, in all the madness, they have to sort of realize at some point, we're just gonna settle down. We've got one more round to get. Okay, they maybe shouldn't have gone to golden cap, but like we can lock in and get it over the line and at least finish the week on 5 points.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested how serious the Czechs are playing the season. Maybe they don't actually care too much. Maybe they're just, having fun playing the teams. Maybe they're super molding in comms right now. That would be interesting. Because
Demonite does that to people, right?
Yeah.
Like Dobie got a 2-week ban for flaming earlier this season after playing the Demonite, and he was winning 5-1. So like, they won like, I think it was like 5-0, 5-1, I think, and still got a 2-week ban for saying some unsavory things in in-game chat. So, and even if it's like a team like that, that's like a mixed team or something for the season, like you still at the end of the day, you still want to win when you're in the server.
You still want to win, and there's still some frustrating elements of Demonite, let's say.
Yeah, and Sniper as well. This map,
Yeah,
like the
absolutely.
perma Sniper as well. Like, oh my god, I don't even want to know how many kills that Sniper got this map, but it was too many for a Sniper to be getting in an offie like this.
Particularly with the Chaos as well. You'd think traditionally, like, the Sniper kind of excels when it's, the team plays around him, it's slow, he can just kind of peek in, everyone's, playing smartly, but it's rare to kind of see such a chaotic gameplay, every 2 seconds a player going behind on a flank, and the Sniper actually making it work.
Oh no. we don't have time to like pull it up and everything because I don't know when Golden Cap's going to start, but I've just had a look at the log and how many kills Buko got. Do you have a guess? How many kills do you think Buko got that map?
25?
38.
Oh.
But he didn't top frag. SNH got 40 on the other side.
Okay. Scout is still the better class.
Yeah,
just about.
Like what do you even do? Like, yeah, even like you say, if the Czechs aren't dealing with it seriously, right? Even still, anyone would be tilted playing against that. Like, absolutely anyone in the world. But
yeah.
they've got to plow on. They've got to handle it in their stride.
Got to have absolutely ice in your veins and mental.
Yeah, you don't want to be getting any flaming bans that will affect playoffs as well. You don't want to be missing any of your players going into the potential playoffs. Should they
don't want to ruin any friendships as well. Like, that's
true. Yeah,
that's what I would worry about. Like,
yeah, they're all mates. I think you guys have played like years ago together, right? Like, they're all like a close circle.
Yes, and so don't want to crash out too hard. And at the end of the day, the real winner is the team that makes the other team rage, regardless of what the scoreboard says.
Well, the tournament can end, and may the tournament end fairly soon too, because we've got rollouts happening for this golden cap on Process. It's gone on for quite a while, and it may go for up to 15 minutes longer. We've got direct hit on rollout here from Lupus. We've got Sniper up as well, Demonite as usual, as we see SNH and Co here grouping up on this left-hand side. Omga finding the first kill of the mid there onto Lenny, and the Sniper Buko peeking in from this choke, trying to find anything he can, and it might have to be a kill into this soldier because Colling has gone very aggressive into this combo of Aware, not found too much effect.
Yeah, it's a rough time at the moment. Everyone's just focusing down on the Demonite. Actually, Unforgiven had some nice shots from SNH coming in clutch. And how the hell
Don't even ask me. I'm sorry, I can't. Like, nice play from the scouts, to be fair. Them two scouts in cleanup,
Yeah.
Misha and SNH really did do the cleanup there. That was really great to see from those two. How the rest of the mid went before that, it was a weird one. And now there's an attempt at an early bomb in onto second from Lenny. Bit of an off-timing play there, going to try and catch some players out, but he is one himself who will be getting caught out on second. As now, in theory, in a normal game, we'd settle down into a stalemate here. But that's not going to happen. I'm not even going to pretend that's going to happen because we've already got Odin flying in onto Blair, who does the whip around behind the rock and somehow stays alive. There's more players flinging themselves in. Aaron Trier, just before the med can land on the health pack, comes in and steals away with a little air shot there on to Blair. But only 3 players up, so much space being taken. Buko on Sniper and Shutter is going to be taken down, and second point may well be falling. We've got a direct hit up in response from Lenny as well. So nothing normal really happening, but second point getting capped up despite the disad is maybe some kind of win for the Czechs.
Yeah, I mean, Unforgiven's kind of kept his Uber alive, but just had to kite back as his players fell around him. But the spawns are up now, they've got 6 players up, they've got an Uber ready to go. They've got the pick onto Misha as well. And now, I mean, they're playing it quite slow at the moment.
But is Lupus playing a jump map or something? What was that? Lupus just jumped all the way behind the entire Czech team to the red rollout, then did the fast rollout back the other way and landed in with his own team.
Well,
like, it was a weird one.
Just about worked though. They've captured mid. Bless still isn't quite up at Uber now. I don't know if they're exactly sure of that situation. It looks like they are respecting the possibility of Blair having the Uber, which he of course does now. At this stage, going to see once more. It is going to be Lupus thinking about making a play, just playing towards Arcada. Now going to do a traditional kind of play of just opening that shutter for his sniper Buko, peeking in from the sewer area, trying to find anything that he can. Everyone just kind of playing these standard kind of positions to hide away from that sniper, and this is looking a little bit too normal for my liking.
This is like a normal sniper into process second situation. Surely something crazy's got to happen in like 2 seconds time. Surely, like, I don't know, they've all got to pile in through choke, or someone's got to go behind and start stirring things up. But for now, yeah, it's all eyes on the sniper, all eyes on Lupus, who's taken a ton of damage here. SNH and Coley doing a great job here of just peeking that choke at the sort of correct timing where they're not getting caught by the sniper, but they're also doing enough damage to discourage anyone from getting through. Lupus going to bomb in, and surely going to get taken down quickly there. Misha healing the killing below, as now a soldier down is going to be in space in onto mid. Buka goes down to Stickies as well. Odin taken down weak as well, and now it's going to be an Uber trade in the red choke for this fight. Big shots coming in now from Kolig as well onto Aaron Trier, as now these last players on point may just be streamed out alone. Unforgiven goes down. Odin going to try and fly into salvage, gets a kill in onto Lenny and onto Blair as well. And just when you think that the Czechs are getting things under control, it is stripped away.
Yeah, Persian Persuader coming in, Clutch is allowed to chain a couple of frags there. They thought, I mean, it was about as good a push into mid as they could have wanted. They got a really good trade and choke. They got a really good post-Uber position where just players were encircling the escaping combo, but then the Demo Knight absolutely kills their fun, absolutely kills their dreams, to be honest. And now it is Aware charging forward into the second point. Already getting some cap time down, already getting the pick onto Lucas in the lobby area, and they want to clean up this golden gap here.
They've got to do it fairly fast though. They don't actually have Uber, so this might get a little bit weird. Buko is still hitting shots though, which is kind of the one thing that's been a stock standard for this entire map so far. And peeking in from 5, like, how do you even leave spawn into this? You just don't. That's the answer, because Kolig's already gone down. Cap time coming through. Demo Knight Odin landing in onto point, but Misha is dancing around Lucas. The early death on this hold has finally come back up and is able to help his team. Ubercharge only just ready now for Unforgiven, as Omga's going to be the one to walk it in. 80% over on Blair. Ubercharge used across. They're going to try and get resupply binds coming in. Omga jumping away from the point. They cannot take this Ubercharge off of the scouts. And now, with Blair going down to Aaron Trier, maybe there's a chance to salvage in, and it's getting weird. Aware maybe fumbling unless Odin can do something crazy onto the point. He's going to get in onto Lucas, of course, because that's been the constant of this entire game. And did Blade drop there in the middle of all that, or was that like a 90% death? I couldn't tell.
I don't think it was a drop. I don't know exactly how much.
It was close to Uber,
yeah, fairly
definitely.
close, I think.
It was an important kill.
I didn't hear that the drop crackle that I'm more than familiar with, so I don't think it was a drop. But either way, it's going to be Blair with thinking about moving in towards the mid, but Buko is making them think again with a headshot on to Lucas. Charge in towards the choke point, but Odin is going to get cleaned up by SNH, who's already up to 5 kill streak this life, and it's going to get a 6th of all its troubles. Lucas was trying to hide away from him, but there's no escape from SNH right now.
That's the thing in matches like this, when like it's complete chaos and it's complete like sort of scrappy, everyone's everywhere, fights happening all the time. That is when like the scout class just looks at its absolute best, especially on Pro Scissor. This is dream scenario for SNH. And that's why the logs in the first one looked so good, and that's again why they're looking to take it in aggressively here from the top of IT. Unforgiven does have an Uber to use, and the Uber is going to get used onto mid, and we are going to be getting a rather awkward fade, I think, in choke. No, they both sort of let each other pass, getting onto their respective sides, except both the medics, of course, dying in traditional fashion.
Yeah, they both just let each other kill each other's medics, and it's going to be SMG gaming coming out from Buko. Continuing with it. Frag kind of walks into Lenny, and Lenny is he's gifted 2 frags for his logs there. That was exactly what you want as a soldier. Just players walking into your face, and you can just hit. You can't even miss those rockets, to be honest.
Really nice work from Lenny. And there's like not too much ad to speak of. This late scout spawner meant that Unforgiven couldn't build perfectly, but it's going to be close enough. And again, knowing the class composition on the enemy side, they're willing to just walk it straight in here on the check side. They're going to bomb in, take down Unforgiven straight away, and maybe looking for some more frags underneath this point because Omlu's gone down, Aaron Tree has gone down, Buko's hitting shots, so it might not matter because everyone else is falling here on aware, but they get the all-important crucial kill on to Blair. SNH though, and Lucas already on last, already trying to get something going, but Odin again winning out the Demo v Demo 1v1.
Oh my god, he just charges in, takes out Lucas, charges back into his own spawn and escapes with about 10 health.
This is what they needed in Denver, right? Like in Denver, like none of the Americans could deal with Lucas, right? Lucas was destroying them all. They just needed to run Demo Night, right? That's the counter, surely.
Yeah. Why didn't NA think of that?
Exactly.
Are there any good NA Demo Nights? That's what I remember.
Not that I know of. They were all like, when I was sort of, I suppose a couple of the Americans, they were like, yeah, it's sort of the novel thing that we have in Europe is like, there's like a couple of Demo Night teams, obviously Odin in the high div, and then there's a couple of lower div attempts, but there's now a crits coming in potentially from Lucas. Normally Lucas gets killed before the crits can even get used, but this time he's able to get a kill over onto Aaron Trier and a kill onto Lupus too. Uber charge used out, but this may be... Oh, okay, never mind. The Uber seems like it's doing pretty well because Omga is mulching these non-invincible players in the lobby area. But now in the post-fight, there's a sniper up still. Omga going to do his best to try and block the point, but is it going to be enough? Just one scout V2 on the point. Omga winning out the power of the beam, but not winning out enough because point gets capped up. And the Czechs finally get this map over the line. This honestly should have been done like half an hour ago. The Czechs, like, I really thought they were going to close it, but Aware fought back, and now it's going to be a 5-1 for the final result.
Yeah. Great stuff. Really high quality TF2. I mean, that has got to be the best game of TF2 I've casted in about 6 months. That was just great stuff.
that was a game.
Well,
just leave it there. Tune in next week, I guess.
Think so, yeah.
Thanks, Dave, for jumping in and having your glorious return to 6v6 Caps. Yeah, I hope you had a great time on that one. I certainly did. And thank you again, Beta, for the production. We'll see you all next week.